these aptitude tests you take when you're in junior high, sometimes you're actually right. When I was in junior high, I took an aptitude test that said I was supposed to be a farmer. I was like, it's so embarrassing because I was the only one I think in the whole school was supposed to be a farmer. Ended up where I was supposed to be. I went to nursing school for a year. Met my husband through his mom, who was a patient, who I had as a patient. And I was telling her I was going to go out and help my grandpa hoe beans. The next day she says, I've got a son who's a farmer who's not married. And here I am 41 years later. So my husband and I started farming as an operation in '82. And we did sugar beets and processing tomatoes and pickles and other crops, as well as our vegetable. We have about 40 acres of vegetables that we do for the stand. And then labor dried up and the processing plants moved away and beet factory shut down, so we came more into our greenhouse here. I told my husband 30 years ago he's going to be in our greenhouse. He'd say, are you nuts? But it's just kind of, when you're farming, you have to realize it may not be for your entire career doing the same crops. There's a lot of diversity that comes up, and you have to go with where the money flow is. 3 generations, we've gone from 60% of the population farming to less than 1%. And that's happened because of the efficiencies that science has allowed us with the chemicals, with the GEs, with et cetera, that has allowed us to farm more with less people and produce more. But I think we've just about reached our max right now on how we can expand that, and there's going to be some interesting choices as a nation coming up. What resources, where are we going to put our resources? A big example is California and its water. You have a drought going on. Who gets what water? Do I fill my swimming pool? Do I water my grass? Do I water my almond trees? Do I water my pasture? I think it's going to become tougher and tougher to make a living as a farmer. Who's going to own all this land as it passes? The next generation can't afford to buy it. What's going to happen to this high valued land? And what's going to happen to all the equipment, and who's going to maintain it? And how many folks are going in to become diesel mechanics and know how to fix a John Deere tractor or whatever kind of equipment you have? So there's some farmers who are looking for partners who they'll mentor and then eventually, be able to, pass it on to or sell out to at a more reasonable amount because it's more important to them to pass it on and keep it in a certain farming type of arrangement than let it get gobbled up. There's very few full-time farmers left because the reality is that you're never going to get rich doing it. You'll be land rich and cash poor is what usually happens because you have to invest so much into your business. I always tell folks we give you a fantastic product at a fair price will keep us in business. And we're not the cheapest, and if you want the cheapest, you have to go someplace else. We want quality and cheap. And right now it's really popular to buy local and support your local farmers, which is a wonderful thing. That's what we need to do. But I think a lot of it's lip service, and if push came to shove, if I had to choose between buying my new cell phone or having my cell phone service or paying more for my food, guess what I'm going to choose? We've been at Perrysburg Market since it's opened up, 15, 16 years ago, and people know you and know what to expect, and they know that they can trust. If you tell them, this particular tomato is going to be better if you wait until next week, they know that you're saying it in their best interest. If you want to support local folks, you probably need to go more to the source. And there's not very many sources left, but there's quite a few farmers markets now, and there's a lot of little roadside stands, so go to the source or grow your own. In your own backyard, then you know where it's coming from, you know exactly what's happened to it, and there's nothing like walking out in your backyard and picking off that tomato while it's still warm by the sun and standing right there eating and let that juice run down your chin, because you know what you put into it. You know how many times I had to go out and weed that thing? I had to water, I had to prune it. You know what went into it. So you appreciate the fruits of your own labor, literally. We have this wonderful sources of food, and Northwest Ohio is blessed. It's some of the most diverse foods and some of the cheapest foods in the whole country. And we really take it for granted again. So don't take it for granted. Try something new. Try to do a little bit of gardening, even if it's in a flower pot. And support your local growers as much as you can.